He's Bruce the Blog, and he's not here. I'm Bazzo. I am. You're watching Bruce the Blog Goes Bazzo with our guest, Darren Rigger. Tonight we talk politics. Good evening, everybody.
I am the real Bruce Apar.
How are you? Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Bruce the Blog Goes Bazzo. Our guest tonight is like I told you, he is going to be our Democrat talking head, but actually, like it says, Democrat political commentator on the national scene, Peekskill Councilman Darren Rigger. And as usual, we want to remind you that this is produced by Chase Media Group, which publishes your penny saver that's in your mailbox every week. Thank you, Carla Chase and Frank Rich, for your continued support of this show.
We love the penny saver.
Yes, we do. Now, as the usual, we have our salutes and salvo, and Bruce isn't here, but Darren is going to do our salvo this week.
No, not a salvo. I want to do a salute.
Sorry, Darren is doing the salute.
I want to do
week.
A salute to Jeannie Blum. She was a Peekskill resident. For the last 9 years, she's been working with CHOP, the Coalition for the Homeless of Peekskill. Now, this is a woman who works with the Jan Peek House, the Sunny Donut Program, and Fred's Pantry. And
Fred's Pantry is out of the St.
Peter's Church, and it's the food pantry to help all the hungry people.
Right.
So she just got a new job, Executive Director of the Westchester Coalition for the Hungry and Homeless.
You know, when I had Dominic on the show, he had mentioned that they were losing to that's the same
the executive director.
So now it's official.
It's not a promotion. It's a whole different organization.
But now it's official.
But it is official. Oh yeah, it's official. She's leaving CHOP, but she's moving on to a much bigger organization. So she's doing what she did, helping the homeless and the hungry in Peekskill. She's now doing that for all of Westchester. So for her hard work, we salute her.
Yes, absolutely. Now, you said you had something coming up you wanted to mention before we go on.
The other thing. So it's also a food item. So Peekskill has
two fat people talking about food. How rare and unusual.
I think about food all the time. Actually, did you do New Year's resolutions this year?
No, because I would break it anyway. Well, actually, I did do one resolution. I said I wasn't going to be a nice guy like I normally am.
Well,
and I've already broken it.
I'm on TV now a lot because I'm on the city council.
Right.
So they film the city council meetings, and the particular view that you have of me on the city council meetings is sideways, which is not a good look, not my best luck. So my wife has me. I'm trying to lose some weight. I'm trying to be healthier.
Remind our viewers what your wife said after the first show you did. If they didn't see the second show you did.
It was the very first show. I was excited. I don't do this a lot, so I came home and I told my wife. I said, "Oh, did you watch me on the show with Andy? Wasn't it exciting? What did you think?" She just looked at me stone-faced and said, "You have to go on a diet." So
anyway,
so that's what I'm doing. And so one of the things is Peekskill has what's called the Raw Life Food Co-op, and this is a completely volunteer, member-owned and run food co-op.
So one on South Street, right?
On South Street, 913 South Street. You have to join. You go there. You get organic food, so there's no pesticide, no chemicals.
So it's an organic BJ's.
Eat healthy. Exactly. It's great. It's like your own private supermarket, but you can't just join. You have to go and meet people, and one of the members brings you in. But they have open house times. So on Fridays at 11 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. you can go by, or you can visit their website, rawlifefoodcoop.com, and it's a healthy alternative, a good way to eat.
Well, I think everybody should go check out that website. I hope they don't have a secret handshake like the Raccoon Lodge.
No.
Nothing like that?
No.
None of that, woo.
That'd be great.
Anyway, now let's get right into why you're here. And he says he doesn't do TV much, but as this political season now progresses, like I says, he is our Democrat political commentator. And right now he's going to start off. We've had 3 primaries. Well, one is a caucus, Iowa. Then you had New Hampshire. You had South Carolina. And each of the leading candidates have won each, which in itself was a rarity. How do you see that? Because
I don't think that's never happened. That's never happened.
Right. But the reason why, because Darren's been on a congressional level in the multi-primary, and we're going to talk about that at the second half of the show. But the fact is that he's been there, done that.
I worked on a presidential primary in this. I'm showing my age now. In '91.
That was Gebhardt or Gore?
No, I worked for Senator Tom Harkin.
Oh, yes.
And that was the year, in '92, when Clinton was running. And it was really funny because we're in the middle of the New Hampshire primary, and we're fighting hard, and every week a different newspaper article would break about Bill Clinton. He smoked pot. We said, oh, he's going to have to drop out. And then it said, oh, he was in Russia where he burned an American flag. Do you remember this? And then we thought, oh, he's going to have to drop out. Then Jennifer Flowers held a press conference, and we said, it's over. Clinton's going to drop out.
Yeah, that's when they played the tapes that Mario Cuomo was mafia.
They had tapes.
That's right.
And yet Clinton didn't drop out. And son of a gun, he didn't win. Tsongas won, but he came in second and goes on to become president.
Now, do you see
that guy could sustain anything?
Because now you're just thrown into a nice direction. You've just seen yesterday an organized, no matter how much they say that they're not working in cahoots, attack on Newt Gingrich from National Review Online, Terrell. People from the Reagan administration, Elliot Abrams, I'm trying to remember what his name was. Anyway, people from the Reagan administration saying that Newt Gingrich hated Reagan. He really wasn't a kid. So do you see the same thing? Do you see Newt dropping out?
No, I don't see Newt dropping out. Some of the big factors that go into that is when you look at people like Ron Paul. If Ron Paul was younger and still a member of Congress and could someday still run for governor or U.S. senator or something, he would run for president in a more cautious way. Because he would say, I still have a political future, I might someday be a secretary or a cabinet member or something. So they run differently. Newt is in that, so my point about Ron Paul was he's resigned from Congress. He's not going to run again. Right. So, and this is it. He can go all in. So the same thing with Newt Gingrich. Newt Gingrich is all in. He's not running for vice president or to be a cabinet member or something like that. This is it. He's running for president.
Well, doesn't the same thing go for Mitt Romney? He's got no. I mean, he's not running for Congress and the Senate. I mean,
Mitt's starting to go all in. I think that he's a different. Certainly with the debates, he's a different campaigner right now in the Florida campaign than he was even a week ago in South Carolina.
Admittedly, he got his clock cleaned in South Carolina, and nobody. You know, it's amazing. They talk about all these experts. They say nobody saw it coming. Yet, the people on the ground, the base of the Republican Party, knew this was coming, because he still hasn't gotten past that 25% threshold of acceptance in the primaries. No matter what he's done, there's still 75% anti-Romney out there.
That's right. And Rick Santorum is still somewhere between 10 and 12
now,
points.
How does this...
Ron Paul's still 10 or 12
right,
points.
You've got the latest poll numbers. What are the latest poll numbers? You've got the latest poll number.
This is what's interesting. Nationally now. Right. Nationally, Newt Gingrich is up 31% to Romney's 27%. So they're, basically within the margin of error, but very close to each other. But Newt's a little up. And in Florida, very close again, Romney at 37%, Newt at 32%. So again, within the margin of error, they're very close. Santorum 10%, Paul 10%. So that's 20% of the party right there.
Now, we were talking behind the scenes. You see the viciousness between Romney and Newt. I mean, honestly, do you really think these super PACs are not coordinating with the candidates? I mean, is that the dirty little secret?
How could they?
I mean, is it really all coincidence? Or do you believe in coincidence?
No, I just think that it's you don't have to coordinate to know what's going to help the other person. So if I know that you had a DWI or a drunk driving incident, and I know that the candidate I'm supporting doesn't want to bring it up because he doesn't want to look like the dirty guy or the bad guy. Right. But I feel, darn it, somebody ought to bring that up in a television ad. The person, Sheldon Edelman, I think his name was, he gave $5 million to a super PAC to run negative ads against Romney, and now his wife has given another $5 million.
Right.
So that's $10 million. Now, it's not for Gingrich.
Right.
It's against Romney.
Now, what I'm saying is
not coordination to know what to say.
Members that work for these candidates on these super PACs.
Former staff.
Former staff, yes.
Former staff.
Right. So that's what you're saying about that they actually know because they knew the candidate.
Sure, but even then.
Not about you saying, what they said.
Someone like the DCCC.
They know the candidate's not going to bring it up.
Someone like right now at the DCCC, Nancy Pelosi, right? The Democrats, Nancy Pelosi.
Right. Former House Speaker.
She might have 100 staff that are out there working all across the country. And so 2 years from now, it'll be like a different 100 people. So as alumni, as people who might have at some point worked for Nancy Pelosi, it might be in the hundreds. And so if one of them goes and some days works for a super PAC as a Democrat, people will be able to look at it and say, oh, that's one of Nancy Pelosi's former staff. That must be a Pelosi PAC.
Don't you get that working for Charlie Rangel?
Well, I'm a consultant now, so I work for a lot of different clients, including Congressman Rangel. But if someday I was to go off and work for a super PAC, I would get that. People would say, oh, well, he's a former staffer for Charlie Rangel or a former staffer for Dick Gephardt.
Now, I want to get to the thing, but I was going to ask you. How does this, or do you think this helps Rick Santorum?
I do. Anytime.
So you were telling me there was a bump in the polls.
Yes. Anytime there's a dynamic when people go negative at each other, which is what Romney and Newt Gingrich are doing now, they hurt each other, and it benefits a third party. Whoever is the alternative to the kids fighting usually gets a benefit.
Which happened for Santorum in Iowa.
It happened for Santorum in Iowa. Famously, we referred to it as a murder-suicide when Howard Dean and Dick Gephardt got into a fight in Iowa. Do you remember this? It was about 8 years ago.
Yes.
Howard Dean was #1, Time magazine. Everyone said, oh, he's going to be president of the United States.
He was supposed to be he was supposed to be the anointed one.
They ran ads where it was a Gephardt-associated PAC, same thing, ran ads where they morphed Howard Dean into Osama bin Laden and then morphed back to Howard Dean. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
People were so disgusted at the fight between Howard Dean and Dick Gephardt that they came in 3rd and 4th, and the winners were John Kerry and John Edward.
Oh,
so it just shows that when you're
John
negative,
Edwards on the map.
That's it.
That was the one that put Edwards on. Because he was totally discounted.
When I was in a primary with 6 Democrats, 6 in a primary, and you end up, if I want to, you got to make that big decision. If I attack you, it's going to hurt you, but it's also going to look bad on me, and the beneficiary with the third party.
But you watch this, and they said, oh, the people don't like this negative stuff. The truth is, they love it, don't they? It's like a train wreck. Everybody,
and it works. If it didn't work, people wouldn't do it.
So what it did to, Gingrich in Iowa.
Gingrich got destroyed in Iowa.
That's right.
The super PACs came in
and you
negative
saw what
ads.
happened to Romney in South Carolina. Because I don't count New Hampshire. That was Massachusetts. They have an open primary. They can register then and there that they live there. So I don't count those kind of primaries because everybody ships their supporters in. Now,
do you consider yourself part of the media? Would you consider yourself media?
Yes, I do.
So
television, blog,
and that's what do you think about Newt's really campaign against the media? Like really
I campaign against the media. My latest column campaigns against the media. That they're in bed with Obama #1, and they want Romney because they think that Romney is the one that Obama can beat. The media destroys that which they fear the most. Trust me, if Sarah Palin that's one of the reasons why they had to destroy Sarah Palin. They feared her because she had the love of that base of the party.
See, I think also what people are tapping into is if you had a wonderful proposal about how to redo roads, highways, and bridges, it's a little boring. But if Newt Gingrich's ex-wife wants to talk smack about him, they can't get enough of it. I mean, it's just salacious at this point.
Why, the Inquirer is the biggest selling media out there still to this day. They're the only media that hasn't lost ad revenue.
Oh, my God.
Because that's what people give the people what they want. You're in the people business. Yep. Now, I have my own theory, and this is going to segue into our congressional race. And I wrote about this. Back in November, latter part of November. And my co-host Bruce is the only one that knows how ahead of the curve I am, because now you're starting to hear the rumblings about this now that it might be true, that neither party cares who wins the presidency. It's not the important issue. It's not the prize. The prize is control of the Congress and the Senate, where the money is. If their party also wins the presidency, it's actually for the Republicans a negative, because then they actually have to repeal Obamacare.
Yep.
See, now, if Obama still wins, and that's why I think the Republicans want Romney, because they don't think he can beat Obama either. I believe this in my heart. But he can help them capture the Senate and keep the House. So if they can repeal Obamacare, Obama vetoes it, they don't have enough votes to override, they get all the money and get to blame Obama, and Obama don't care because he's the lame duck. And that's my theory, that the prize is the House and the Senate, not the president.
I think it's the person that you're talking to is on all the different levels of government is fighting for their level of government, because there's more congressmen. There's 435 of them.
But doesn't the Constitution install the power of the purse to Congress?
They do, but I think that if you are not involved in the congressional system, you really would love to see the presidency. But the people in Congress, especially the Republicans in Congress, really want to hold Congress. The Democrats are desperate to take the Congress back. They need 25 seats. They're called the drive for 25. 25 is not a lot. I mean, we've seen swaps 40, 50, 60, 80.
60, 70.
Yeah, some are huge,
ago,
but 25 is not unthinkable. And so the Democrats could try to take the House. That's where their focus is.
And the Republicans want the Senate. And
oh, my gosh. The fight for the Senate
And they only need, what, 7 seats?
Very few.
That's what I mean. Out of 23 that are up?
Yep. So they have
most of them are Democrats?
They actually have a really good chance. The Republicans have a good chance of taking the Senate, and the Democrats have a good chance of taking the House.
That's why I said, that's why I think the fix is in. Because, no, come on, Darren. Let's face it. No matter how these...
I think they're sincere in wanting to win. I think each one wants to win.
So you don't think... Yeah, but I think that you really think that's the prize.
I think so. I think Romney really wants to be president.
Not Romney. I'm talking about the powers that be, the fix. Because we're talking about the primaries. And it doesn't matter about all these primary states. More times than not, they got the superdelegates. Tell the people what a superdelegate is.
Superdelegates are like elected officials. They hold the same voted weight at the conventions as someone who was a delegate in the regular primary process. So whereas someplace, like a small state or even some of the moderate states, like New Hampshire might only have, I think New Hampshire had like, what, 28 or 30 delegates.
Right.
So you can imagine there's, every Republican elected official, federal elected official, is a superdelegate. So there's hundreds of them. And most of them are behind Romney. They're already
but they can do anything they want. They're not pledged.
They're not pledged. So at the convention, they can decide the election. And you were saying that they have done that in the past.
Right. There was Reagan Ford, Kennedy Carter, and the exception, and you were talking about this, was Obama Clinton.
That's because they changed, the Democrats had changed the delegate selection system to the point where the media and the perception was whoever gets the elected delegates, that the superdelegates would have an obligation to go ahead and not overturn the will of the people, as they say, instead of pulling some kind of backroom deal at the convention, which is the way it would have been done 100 years ago. Right. Under that system, under the old system, Hillary would have been the nominee. Yeah.
Okay, let's quickly, we're probably halfway through the show now. One day I'll buy a wristwatch. Maybe you could buy me a wristwatch for Christmas.
We do. You need like a clock or something.
Anyway, let's go.
I like your bookcase with your, it looks very, the new set looks really terrific.
Now, you know what's not there in those books? They've had books of great winners and great losers. There's never been a book about the greatest moderates in history, because they don't exist, because moderates have no core beliefs.
They don't win. They don't win.
They don't win. You really have to stand for something to win.
And I'll tell you about a Democrat. There was a Republican or a Democratic House member named Michael McMahon in Staten Island. Right. Him and Scott Murphy, terrific guy, Scott Murphy, who was just north of John Hall's district. These guys got into office as Democrats.
That would have been District 19, folks.
Yeah. They go into office, and right away they said, well, for re-election, I got to start voting moderate, very moderate. So McMahon, I consider him a friend, he's a nice guy, he voted against the health care bill. He voted against cap and trade. He voted against the economic recovery bill. Right. Thinking, well, these are all very unpopular Obama bills. so moderates will love me, independents will love me. When it came time to get reelected, he looked around and he had no one filling his phone banks. No one wanted to put up his signs. No one wanted to attend his fundraisers and give him money. Because everyone looked at him and said, look, we elected you and you voted against us every single opportunity you had. So you weren't there for us, so we're not going to be there for you. So he alienated his base so much that when it came time for election, no one was there to help him.
This question I asked
in
my letter to Greg Ball, what do you gain if you gain a few Democrat votes and you lose your conservative base?
Yeah, and I just, you know, with the fracking thing, I don't see how Greg Ball thinks that if you're right on maybe one issue, it's going to somehow blind everyone to voting wrong on the other 10 issues.
You know, we're never going to get to Congress because you brought up fracking. Now I'm going to bring up the Keystone Pipeline because you're a union man. Tell the truth. You always tell people when you run for office.
How am I a union guy?
Because you said your father was union and you have union running in your blood. And
my grandfather was in the Ironworkers Union. And to get into the union back in those days, you had to get a card. And it was passed down from father to son. So he gave it to my father, or he gave it to his oldest son, my uncle, who gave it to his younger brother, my dad, who gave it to his oldest son, my brother. And I'm the first one not in the union.
So Obama kills the Keystone Pipeline. That's all union jobs. That's got to hurt. I just say it's got to hurt. I'm not saying, what's pulled or what's not. As a union, pro-union man.
It does. It does. But the same argument could be done about the same could be said about fracking.
Right, I'm saying, and you could see that the unions are fighting Obama about this and not happy about that he did this, because that's employment. They got to, the construction industry, the housing's down. You got to put these guys to work somewhere.
Yeah, but Obama also appointed terrific people to the Labor Relations Board, who's fighting for OSHA, who's fighting for inspections, who's holding people accountable, who's protecting construction workers all across the country, and he's trying to push as much money into infrastructure, roads, highways, bridges. Those are all union jobs.
Yeah, but that's public. We're talking about private. Anyway, let's get to the Congress. You've been in...
Wait. You mentioned Greg Ball. We should talk about redistricting just came out.
Okay, tell people the inside scoop on redistricting, how it starts, which you told me, because I didn't know that until you told me.
No one knows.
No, but you said where it starts from.
No one knows. It's the House. People somewhere in the state assembly sit down with lobbyists and insiders in back rooms and start drawing lines. They end up meeting up with people from the state Senate who are also insiders and lobbyists. They draw lines, and just yesterday they unveiled the new lines.
But didn't you tell me that
and Cuomo says he's going to veto them.
Right, but I got the recent Supreme Court ruling about the Texas redistricting may stop him from really doing
And there's still other lawsuits. There's a lawsuit involving prisons. Where do we count prisoners?
Right.
Do we count them
where the Supreme Court said that the
from?
legislature really does have the final say in this, and that it is political by nature.
But I think he's going to veto it anyway.
Well, yeah, but I don't think they'll waste their time going to courts because the Supreme Court made a decision, though.
And then the court will find that it was. But at least, see, the thing about Andrew Cuomo.
I mean, the Supreme Court already acknowledged that it's political by nature. But what I'm saying,
the governor said he will veto anything that does not go through an independent commission.
But do you know what
it doesn't even exist?
I know, but do you know what an independent commission? There's more Democrats registered in New York than Republicans. Of course, Republicans can't go along with this. An independent commission.
It doesn't even exist.
I know, but if one existed, it would redistrict Republicans out of business.
I think he has to veto it just to say I vetoed it because it was like the Casablanca line. There's gambling in Casablanca. So it would be. He's like,
no, but
what? You politicized the line, so it was politics.
Didn't you tell me that it starts with Wrangel's district out?
No, it would be a little more south. And so what happened is...
Where does it start then?
It would be Manhattan. It would start Long Island, actually. Because what ends up happening is because of the population growth, they have to move everything out from there because you can't go ocean, south and that direction. So everything has to radiate out from there where it affects all the lines going up. The state Senate is, I believe, adding a district.
Right.
They're tweaking.
Greg
Ball's district has changed.
Yes, but that might be where the courts can interfere. Because if we lost population, because we lost a congressional seat, how can you say we need another Senate seat?
Yeah, how can you add it? And also when we're supposed to be in austerity, we're supposed to be trying to save money to create a whole other office, more staff.
It just boggles the mind that we lost population. How do we need another Senate seat?
Add that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they went to public education. You know, if they use private education, you know, a charter school, they made
They would have done it better. They would have done it
So
better.
anyway, you just had a forum here in Peaksville. Who are the Democrats running for District 19?
There are 4
in
Democrats.
the primary. Who are they?
4 Democrats running for Congress here in this area. They're running against Nan Hayworth, who's our current Republican
Republican incumbent. Yes.
There's 4 of them. Let's say the first one, Dr. Richard Becker.
You're a Cortland councilman.
Cortland councilman, a cardiologist,
Yes.
and former chief of medicine at Hudson Valley Hospital.
Correct.
So he's kind of
Good
a local guy.
Great resume.
It'll be interesting because Nan Hayworth is a doctor.
Yes. That would be the interesting match.
Doctor against doctor.
And he's got deep pockets.
The second one who announced was Matt Alexander, who is a CPA, and he's the mayor of Wappingers Falls. I don't know a lot about him. I know that he's openly gay.
They have a mayor?
They have a mayor. Wappingers has a mayor.
I knew they had a
and he's
zoo
up in Dutchess
I
County.
knew they had a zoo until the clam died.
That's horrible. The third one is the mayor of Tuxedo Park, a guy named Tom Wilson. And he is, in 2010, he was elected to be a trustee. And in 2011, he was elected mayor.
Of what?
Of Tuxedo Park, which is
Where's
out in
that?
Orange County.
Okay.
Orange
That's
County.
what I mean. Orange. Okay.
Yeah, if you go out to Orange County and turn left, so go south just a little bit below the mall.
Okay, people, so understand it. Just go to Orange County and make a left.
Make a left. And that's
I love
where
that.
Tuxedo Park is.
Don't drive a cab, Darren. Don't drive a cab.
It's an extremely wealthy place. It's the highest per capita income of anywhere in the 19th Congressional District.
Really?
It's like mansions. It's
So
where
you've
the
been
name-
all over the
Well, it's-
district because
I
you
have.
were
I've
in a
been there.
primary.
It's where the word tuxedo comes from. Tuxedo Park. They invented the tuxedo. Now, you know you got money when you invent
That's right.
the tuxedo.
Yes.
Yeah.
And who's the
By
fourth?
me, they invent the dungaree.
Right.
The fourth one is Dwayne Jackson. Now, this is interesting. He lives in Cortland. You probably don't recognize the name.
No.
He is the Times Square hero. He's a former veteran who was selling goods. I don't know what he was selling in Times Square, and he saw that car with smoke coming out of it, so he cleared the area, and he notified the police, and he saved, hundreds and hundreds of lives.
That's going to be a tough resume to beat.
So, yeah, Dwayne Jackson.
I mean, Richard,
American
Dr.
hero.
Becker has deep pockets. And we were talking about this off the air. My father always said the race may not go to the swiftest or the battle to the strongest, but that's the way to bet. Romney's got the money. So maybe that, and Becker's got the money. How much does money help?
It helps a lot. Tom Wilson, this guy from Tuxedo Park, is a finance guy. He's like a banking hedge fundy guy. So he might have money. He might be able to do this. And Dwayne Jackson, of course, everyone wants to meet an American hero. So Nan Hayworth is gonna really gear up because she's gonna have 4. No one knows where the lines are. No one knows what the district's gonna look like. But I think it's gonna be an exciting year.
It will be an exciting year. Now, obviously, you're going to continue coming and keeping us updated with your viewpoint.
Oh, absolutely. I love this. It's like the back of your cab.
By the way, now, before we go, less than a minute to go, quickly, tell the people, how does it feel to be now, because the last time you won, you weren't sworn in yet, and you hadn't even sworn at yet. How does it feel?
So far, it's terrific, and it's all orientation. So I go and I meet with people, and they teach me a lot of new stuff, and it's exciting. Cops, firefighters, school boards, so I'm really loving it.
I bet you your emails have increased a lot.
They have. they have by a lot.
Oh, God. Darren, thank you for
But
coming
if you
on
ever
the-
need anything, just let me know, because you've been a friend for a long time and really terrific what you do.
All I ever wanted was you to be, you're doing me what I want. You're on the show. You're making the show better.
Well, when I grow up, I want to be Bruce Apar.
Well, then you got to start wearing glasses, and you got to look like Nixon.
You got to wear the hat.
Yeah, you got to wear the hat, yes, and you got to take up acting. Listen, we're coming to the end of the show, and, when Bruce the Blog listens, people talk, and he'll be back with us next week. And these were my opinions, and you can beg to differ. And Darren, thank you for coming on. And if you don't like Darren's opinions, if you get the Monday nights at Pizza Town Hall.
No.